impossible to learn even selling. Like until you sell a business, no one, I don't know, you cannot find this information anywhere.
There
There's
is no
no,
learning as such without doing it yourself. It's like
yeah, it's impossible.
very
So
hard.
one tips I can say for like the next time I will do, everyone worry about the cost of AI. Oh, it's expensive.
Hey guys, today we have Sacha Dumay, a very good friend of mine. We met over Twitter, and he's the co-founder of ChatNode. And recently, he made an exit with 6 figures. That's why I felt it would be great to learn from his journey, how he built ChatNode from scratch. It's an AI SaaS product. He built it from scratch with one of his friends, the co-founder, and they could finally sell it and make the exit just within 1.5 years overall. We'll go through each and every details. So let's ask him about his entire journey, how he felt, what are his learnings, what worked, what didn't work, and what's the technical details behind ChatNode. That would be a great learning for all of us. Let's do it. How ChatNode started.
Well, basically, as I said, like with some friend, we were very excited about the AI stuff. So I was building a lot of small ID, like a YouTube, summary, many small projects, and then I was like, basically, was my idea was okay. I don't know what people want. Let me check on Twitter what people want. Chatbase, which was like one of the first, AI chatbot builder, and he was making a lot of money. Like his MR was, I don't know, at this time was quite small. Maybe, I mean, compared to now, at that time it was maybe, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000. And I was like, basically my idea was, this guy is making money with that. I like the product. I like the idea. I'm basically, my background is data science, data engineer. So I feel I have the capacity to do it. Let's build it. Let's just build our own version and learn how to make a startup. Just don't waste time on finding the perfect idea. I found it, right? Someone is making money on that, so let's do it.
And just build it.
Exactly. So we were two developers basically with my friend, and we built it in like a month and a half. Was grinding for months and roughly.
So like all of you knew each other before, or it was all over internet?
So one guy was an old-time friend. He was doing the marketing, so he didn't start it yet, but he was about to do marketing. And the Eric, it was a very new friend actually. I just met it. Basically, I gave him a key for my rental place. Like I was getting out, and I was giving the key to the new person, and I said like, "Oh, I'm living nearby. Let's have a beer one time." And so we met like basically 2-3 times, and I was in this process of finding, making new business or whatever, and I shared that with him, and he was on board. so I knew him from like a month ago, honestly, at that time.
And you guys just chalked out the plan. Tell me more about how from there, inspired from Chatbase to ChatNode happened.
Like I think like we had a few times, we just went out for dinner or for having a beer, and we were talking. I was telling him my plan, like more just sharing, kind of, build in public, but just with a friend, or with a new friend, like where you just share what's your process and what you want. So my plan was like, we build it, we know we have the skill to do it. I know the AI well, and like the building all this kind of training infrastructure, I can do it very quickly. I have my other friends that can do the marketing. So the plan was to do the product hunt. We already did one before, so we knew how to do it. And it was like, let's do it. Speed is important, so let's do it quick. Are you on board? We both have like kind of full-time or freelancer job. So it was not like 100% of our time, but we thought like we still have the freedom and time to do it. That was really the main thing. And so then we built it, and after so less than 2 months, we launched it on Product Hunt. Product Hunt, the main advice I can give is I think you should buy or find maybe a free version of, I think the book is called Make. Maybe you saw it from
Lewis Leo, or
right. So you could do that. I don't think we did the best launch ever, but I think we arrived second on like Tuesday, which I think it's the hardest day, but it's where you get the most traffic.
You mean the date between like the weekdays when to launch?
So, I mean, like there is, if you launch, for example, on weekend on Product Hunt, it's easier it's easier to reach the top, but you have less traffic.
Right.
So we did on Tuesday, I think, which is hardest day. We finished second, so it was still kind of, we were on the main page, and we got a lot of traffic.
So when you launch in Product Hunt, what are the features which you had for ChatNode that like good enough, to go for a Product Hunt launch? Is there something metrics which you felt over this time that should be there? Or
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely, the main thing was more like you should do whatever workaround or shortcut you can take to ship it. So my point is more, I think where we did a lot of shortcut was like dirty code, Stripe. We don't need to integrate it in our platform. You can
Mhm.
just do a Stripe checkout, like many stuff that, as a developer, you say, oh no, I'm gonna take time to build a nice UI for that. Like no one care. It's wasting your time. But on product end, you still need a decent looking product where with a sign up, with every piece of the puzzle, right? You cannot just skip on it.
Mhm.
So for us, it was you can train on file. Maybe you can train, AI chatbot on text file, basic file. So it was not many file. It was just I think PDF and text and some like website like
Yeah,
URL. So it was a lot of feature actually, but I just manually did it very, dirty code quickly. So it was not like 100% reliable, if you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
But
It
there,
works.
it works, and it was good enough that if someone arrives, sign up, test the product, they will get
Mhm.
a good answer. And if there is a bug or anything, they will, give us feedback, and it's okay, and we can build on top of that. Like
Yeah,
that was pretty much it.
I said before, I'm a huge fan of Mark Liu, and that's what it reminds me that I think he mentioned over one of his posts that have the minimal product and just go for it and have a pricing page out there. Did
Yeah,
you guys have the pricing page or just went for free tire?
no, no,
Yeah.
we. I think there was a free plan, but very limited. But there was a free plan. But we need. Yeah, I would never launch just a free version just because I'm here to make money, right? It's a business, so we.
Sure.
So you need to have a pricing, and yeah, don't try to also beat on pricing. Don't try to launch something and make it cheaper because you think you're gonna
Mhm.
get more cheaper because it's cheaper. It's not the case. At least you should make it same price as other or more expensive, but making it cheaper as a small founder, like with a small team or alone. I don't think it's a kind of a losing game. So
I completely agree. No, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, so from Product Hunt, how so you got a lot of inbounds from Product Hunt. You
yeah,
have couple of customers like 30,
yeah,
40,
yeah,
50.
we were surprised. Like after just a few days. I mean, production went well, as you said. We were second. And I think after a week, we were already almost at 1K MR. So I was like,
Wow.
it's
So just
working.
to recap, this Product Hunt was in the first or second month of your journey with ChatNode?
Maybe it was after 1 month, so June, and we started building in mid-April or something. So yeah, so it was good, and so I was super happy. I was like, okay, the good thing is once you launch, that's why a lot of founder, and I did that maybe myself long time ago. It's like until you launch, you don't have any kind of pressure from the outside world, and you don't want to stay in this window where you're alone by yourself and no one's gonna tell you, oh, you need to improve that. Once you launch and you get real user, they're gonna annoy you, but in a good way. They're gonna motivate you. They're gonna say, oh, I want that, or oh, there's bug here. And so then I think the momentum, you kind of build your momentum. And once you have momentum, it's everything seems easier because you don't need to push yourself. You're pushed by the
Mhm.
user. Which I
Nice.
think for me is important because I'm kind of a lazy person, but once I put myself in the situation, I really want to help them, so it's easy for me to
I
work.
think,
So
yeah, I understand. Like, what you mean is, yeah, getting feedbacks from the users in the first 2 months, like within that period, lot of motivation to work on something more.
yeah, because
At
you,
least
you feel like it's not you're doing something useful, like people use it. So
exactly. I mean, it's not like you were just going and hitting randomly somewhere. People are using it. And so these feedbacks which you got from users, did you literally go have a cold email and ask from them, or they started to use and ask for more features?
usually, I always advise you should put a little, chatbot on your website, like Crisp, Intercom, like a live, especially at first when you don't have that many user, because that's the easiest way for a user to chat with you.
Hmm.
Like, so you need to have
Yeah.
this. The best way I think to get feedback at first is live chat on your website, and
Nice.
then just email. People will send email. You will send some automatic email so people can reply. Sending, like, from my experience and some other sites that I am talking with, sending email to get feedback, it's very hard. Usually people don't give a shit, don't want to spend time on it.
No.
And I think one time we say we're gonna offer you like a 1 or 2 free months, and out of like 100 or even 100 paying customer, I think only one replied to get the free months. No one,
Yeah.
even if you give them money, no one, only when they need it. You know what I mean? Like if you want
Yeah.
to force that out of them, it's gonna be very hard. I'm not saying it's impossible, but from what I'm seeing from our competitor and ourselves, it was not a good idea to waste time on that.
Yeah, it's very hard to get the any reply from them, even if they're customers. You mean?
Yeah, exactly. So live chat is the best way because once they are on it and they struggle with something or they want something, they are there. They're gonna open the live chat and they're gonna say, "Oh, I need that. Can you do it?" And that's the most convenient way for them. And
Yeah.
then it was summer. It was kind of, so June we launched, end of June I was like, okay, I think we went from basically 1.8 thousand a month and then it was flat.
Mm-hmm.
It was very worrying me because I was like, I don't know, we are doing the same. It was growing and now like nothing changed, and
Nothing is happening.
we
No,
are actually,
actually.
the product is getting better. Money is not. So, and what I realized was, so ChatNode is like a B2B business. We are selling chatbots for other business to do customer support or lead generation. And summer is really bad for that. Really, really bad. So now I know that it's okay if summer is flat. And just keep building, take some vacation off.
No, I think we spoke about it. Like, I think the best thing to do in summer is just take a step back, take the vacation time, and then rethink. I mean, just repurpose the whole stuff, like how you're gonna plan from here, or maybe a planning, and then from there you just go for the next from August or September. Just go on for grinding, right?
Yeah, it should be slow pace and kind of prepare, like plan for like September, and then everything is ready in September. I can push marketing, I can push a new feature, and in summer you're gonna waste money and time. So yeah, definitely.
Oh wait, this reminds me actually. So when you mentioned marketing, the first the first 100 or customers and all, all were organic via Product Hunt or you
Oh
just.
yeah, so I think so mainly it was product hunt. Then we push it on all the AI directories, like all these AI, and so there's a lot of them. And at that time, it was very easy to be on front page. So and it was free or very
Mhm,
cheap.
mhm.
We did a few partnership with like Facebook group or like small influencer, but it was like $50, $100, nothing crazy every time. We were trying to kind of build on top of the momentum to be everywhere at the same time, and so kind of it compound everything. Very simple, no ads at the time at all. I mean, yeah, very small ads and just free, and some hack, like we built a Discord community, and yeah, we were just trying to be, but we were, now I'm a bit more active on Twitter, but at the time we didn't do
Uh-huh.
anything like that. So
Which are the places you went for, and which at least worked for you, rather than trying out influencers or something which you don't need to pay for?
well, I would need to I have a list actually of all of them. So
Seriously?
I don't
Okay.
know them now by
Okay.
memory, but definitely, I think I posted on one of my tweets, and there is many lists. And actually, one I recommend, it's not from
Mhm.
me. I think, yeah, on my Twitter, you can find maybe the top 10 that was working for ChatNode and
Uh-huh.
that
Okay.
traffic.
Perfect.
But otherwise, what I recommend for new founder is
Yeah.
Thibaut from Twitter. Maybe
One which
yeah,
mentioned
Feather,
pages.
yeah, Feather dot something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That it was Notion to blog. He has a newsletter, and inside he provide a free Notion template where you have like all of them with the traffic you can get, how hard is it to get in. So same, I
Oh,
recommend to find this link. I can provide it as well. It's
super.
very useful. I'm using that to launch whatever new SaaS.
To have some plans, and you already chalked out the plan for the next, and to just go for it, just go for the kill, and
Yeah,
get more users, increase the
exactly.
revenue. Yeah, how did it work that time?
So what we thought was, so we're gonna plan for AppSumo, and AppSumo, it's really a very unique place to launch your product. The main difference with Product Hunt is you only can sell lifetime deal. So you have to be
Mm-hmm.
very careful because it's especially in AI, every time you send a request to GPT, you pay some token to OpenAI, right? But if you price it very well, I think there's a lot of potential because they have so much reach. Let me tell you a few tips about AppSumo. You're afraid of, I cannot launch it on AppSumo because it's lifetime deal, all these, AI credits. It's not possible. No, it's not true. Just make your product and told them you have lifetime access, but you should put your own OpenAI key. So they have access to the platform, but they pay just the fee. So then it's easy for you to sustain long term, right? So to give you an idea, we made more than 6-figure net profit in less than 2 months in AppSumo.
Wow.
So for us, it's like, you go from making like 1,000, 2,000 a month to, it's a one-time revenue, but still, like when you start, it can be very valuable, and you get a lot of new users. So you get a lot of feedback. AppSumo users they are early adopter. So they know the product is very early and they kind of bet on you in some way. So they're going to give you a lot of feedback. And it was hard on me on the technical side because it put a lot of pressure on ChatNode, because we went from like, 30 paying user, maybe 100 or 200 user to 1,000 user. So
wow. So it's like
from
scaled up
100
a lot.
to 1,000. And ChatNode was not ready to scale that well, but we made it work. Actually, the funny thing is AppSumo brought a lot of traffic, really a lot. And thanks to that, after also we have capital, so we started to do some ads, and I don't know, it was easier. So suddenly we put a bit of ads and our MR finally grew. So we went from like 2 to maybe, basically every month it was growing at 30%, growth.
And what kind of ads? Where did you put the ads mostly?
So we try a few things, but the one that was working the most was actually Google ads, because or in some way it's the simplest, because you don't have any type of content almost, because it's, you don't have a picture. It's not like Facebook ads or Instagram ads where you need to put an image or put a video.
And do you think like the cost of Google ads and conversion from it, how good was? Because I read somewhere that Google ads are expensive, like the per clicks and all those things.
The first thing is you need to, at that stage, we knew kind of a lifetime value of a user. It was like it was keep growing, but it was roughly $500 to $600. So we knew that when you acquire a new customer, he will likely give us $600 in average. So actually you can pay a lot, right? So even if you pay $200, then
you still have a profit margin there.
Yeah. So it was actually, for us, it was roughly that scenario. So it was kind of 2.5 to 3 ROI. So to acquire a new paying user, it was like roughly, I think, $200, and we will get 600. So that was kind of roughly the idea. Also, one major thing that we did that it's hard to know how much it impacted, but we decided to remove the free plan completely, but we did like a free trial. So they can still like cancel and not pay, but because a lot of people, especially in the early stage, they just want to use your GPT credit kind of. So they were just trying to use the product for, not really for using the product, but just to get access to GPT for free,
And before I come to the ChatNode, how it works, and now how from there it went, I'm just curious, like, so right now with AppSumo, you got a lot of inbounds, you already scale up, and now ChatNode is matured, you would say, make the product way more efficient to make it work. And could you do it? I know you guys did it. How difficult was it?
Yeah, it was tough. I did first also a thing that people don't. ChatNode is not an easy product. Like all this new AI, you need to train, you need to help basically a user change a system prompt. So it's a complex product in some way, and so you have a lot of customer support unless your onboarding is like super perfect. So actually, as a founder, I never thought customer support would take my time. I never I don't know. First, I'm just building. I want to build something and whatever. But you don't realize how much time there is in customers. Like when you have 10 users, it doesn't matter, or even 100. But when you have 1,000 users, like I cannot just maintain the platform, build new feature, and also answer not 1,000 person, but many of them. So it was tough on that side. So for any business that start and they feel overwhelmed with that, it's better to hire someone and can train this person, and so then she can or he can take care of that, and you can focus on the product and all the stuff. So I really recommend. I did it too late, I feel, honestly. I was like, oh no, I should do it. Should get all the feedback or whatever. But once you reach a certain level, you need to delegate that, I think.
And you guys were a team of three, right?
But we all have like full-time job at the time.
Oh,
So
that's
it was kind of on the side, but it was it was tough. So that's why I think also. And
wait. So I just forgot to ask this. So you were the one who were doing all the technical part, like you were building the app yourself.
So I was building all the API, all the like AI stuff, like the product itself, and I had my friend helping really on the front end. So more like the UI, I was less focused on that. I became more focused on it at the end, but at the beginning he was doing all that. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, luckily he helped me because I'm more like a backend engineer. Even now, I'm trying to become more full stack. But
This just reminds me. I saw one of your tweet where you were building some new API directories or something similar.
That's why my new business is gonna be. I mean, you're gonna have a website and everything, but it's gonna be API focused. That's what I like.
Nice.
Yeah. So
No, that's great. That's great. Okay.
let's do a bit of tech. Are you up for it? Should we do
Sure,
some?
sure. Let's do that. Yeah.
I guess you know RAG. You did many tutorial about that, right?
I know it, how it works. But please go in the details of it. This
Yeah.
technical details is very important because we have a lot of rack products here and there, but
Yeah.
ChatNode works. Okay, so that is more important here. But I know you have mentioned me once how it works, the stacks. So it'd be great if you let us know like what are the stacks which you use for the RAG.
Yeah, exactly. So RAG is basically, so it's retrieval augmentation, I think, something. Basically, the idea is like, when you have an LLM, you want the AI to answer really, let's say you put your AI on your website, you want the AI to answer based on the information from your website. So if you sell shoes, you want the AI to only talk about shoes and know the price of the shoes of your website. So there's two ways. Either you train it like I would say the old school, but it's more like you train your AI like fine tuning, what they call fine tuning. But we don't do that. We do RAG. So get all this text data. So that's why I was telling you I was scraping the website. You use a bot to go on your website, look at all the text data as a content.
Interesting.
And to go in the data, so first you get this data, then you need to chunk it. So you chunk, let's say you have a one page of
whatever the website details and everything.
10,000 character, you chunk it into like 400 token, which are small paragraph.
Yeah.
Once you have that, you embed it into a vector database. And basically the vector database is just it's a traditional database, but it's for text, for searching text kind of. So
like the vector embeddings and all.
I was using mainly Pinecone at the time.
Nice. Yeah.
Because I think that was one of the earliest and biggest one. I remember like a year ago, they raised 115 million, which is kind of insane.
Yes, I think Series B or Series C, they were that time raising.
Yeah, it's crazy. And actually, I can talk about, let me do a small sideway to talk about AI costs. I would recommend everyone to, everyone worry about the cost of AI. Oh, it's expensive, whatever. In 1 year of business with ChatNode, I think OpenAI decreased all their model 3 or 4 times, each time half price.
Yeah, I remember that long. They just cut it down, and this GPT store came out. That was the time they reduced it. Yes.
And I think really they decreased like 3 or 4 times since in 1 year and a half. And for example, Pinecone. So I was using Pod. Their first architecture was Pod Pinecone. So it's like a big index, and it was good at the time because there was no other option. But then it became kind of shitty and obsolete. And I was scared because actually AppSumo people, they were lifetime deal. And at one point, Pinecone was costing me almost $1,000 a month just to save data. And I was like, I'm not gonna be able to scale it. And they changed the architecture. And when I did the migration, now we are paying right now, like today, I checked 2 days ago, we were paying $57 a month.
From 1,000.
It decreased by like 20 or 50 times the cost, basically. It's insane.
And why do you think that happened? Is it with Pinecone or is the embedding cost went down?
I think it's just in general, it's like you can think AI and anything related to AI. So vector database is one, because it's so important, so useful, and so big. So much money is pouring in. So there is like a lot of optimization that they are doing. When you put like billions and billions of dollars on GPU and like vector database, like of course they're gonna optimize it. So there is a lot of potential to decrease the cost, and that's what happened. So don't worry too much about the cost. I would suggest for someone that start, because cost will only
go down.
only keep
Going
going
down.
down.
Right.
So you vectorize it in Pinecone, then and the main thing is you want speed, because you want to retrieve that information like in a few milliseconds or few hundred of milliseconds, but very, very fast. And then our pipeline in the chat, if someone asks a question, right? Okay, so say, okay, what's the price of this shoes, the red shoes? And so first thing I use Courier to generate what they call, I think, generation queries.
Yeah.
So you know that, right? So you basically it takes you put the entire chat history of the conversation plus the question, and based on that, Courier will generate one or multiple queries that basically help. They're gonna basically be well formatted with only the keywords that are useful to retrieve better information in Pinecone. So that's the idea. I was doing the LLM stuff, but they have like a made feature for that, and it's very convenient, kind of.
For the embedding part, you were using Cohere, or just for sending that?
So I was using for Courier for generation of queries before sending that query to Pinecone.
Okay, then to Pinecone, there you are using which model?
Then once I retrieve, so I did the Courier stuff. I send one or multiple sentence to Pinecone. I retrieve right now like roughly 25 chunk each, and then I use another Courier model which is called re-rank.
Yeah, they re-rank the best.
Yeah, so then because especially what I notice is when your data is a lot, let's say you have a website with 1,000 page, if you just retrieve like the top three directly on Pinecone, its accuracy is gonna start to be bad. So I retrieve more on Pinecone because it's still fast, but not too much, because then it doesn't make sense. And then I use a re-rank model from Courier to again re-rank those 25 and then keep only the first top 3 or top 5. Game changer. It really helps.
From the query from Pinecone, you get how many 25 chance. Oh, then you use Cohere to re-rank the 24 chance based on the user score. So it's like you have 2 layers on it.
Yeah.
And where you're using like one of the most powerful, like Cohere re-rank is really good. So that helps. Right.
Without the re-rank, as soon as there was too much data, it was getting bad.
Oh, I see.
So with re-rank, it really suddenly it was like much better.
Oh, the OpenAI model you are using in the very beginning, where you already scrap and dump it already in Pinecone, right? There you.
Oh yeah. So when you embed, I was using. Actually, now we are using the latest like Open Embedding 3072, I think, like the large embedding model from OpenAI.
This is the rack behind ChatNode.
Yeah, exactly. And at the last step is just put all those 3 chunks and the question and the chat history and sending to GPT-4 Turbo, basically.
Perfect. And I think there are 2 questions which I would like to ask here, and I have got this question a lot over my YouTube comments. Do you use any open source model for it? Why not?
Why not? I mean, the main reason is convenience. And if you're saying open source, you mean like I need to run it on my own server or something like that? Likely. Then because not like the good thing with OpenAI model and all these models is like basically it doesn't require any CPU or GPU on your side, right? I don't really, as I say, especially you're a solo founder. I know we are technical. It's fun. Like if I had time and it was like a side project just for fun, I would like it. But now it's you don't want to have to spin up a GPU just to reply a simple sentence, and also once you have, maybe it makes sense if suddenly we have 100,000 customers
and optimize the cost. It makes
exactly. But as I say, I think like those companies like Pinecone raising 100 million, OpenAI having billions of dollars, you're not gonna be better than them.
No, I totally. And what about open source vector databases? That's like there are a lot of them. Like,
so actually about that, I would be more inclined. It's actually the problem I had is when I started, literally there was nothing else. Like when Pinecone was there like a year and a half ago, to find Chroma and all the other stuff, I know it moved quickly. Like in 1 year, like every month you had a new one, and like. But when you started, I didn't have anything, and I was luck. Actually, it was bad part on Pinecone. They really lock you in, and we use Superbase for many like of our chat history and setting. So actually, at one point, I tested like the PG vector to move our Pinecone to basically Postgre database, which is open
Yeah,
source.
open.
And I think like if I would start again, maybe I would do it. But now again, like at that time there was no alternative. Months later, I really wanted to do it because it was costing me $1,000 a month. But now it's costing me $57 a month. So like I'm not gonna bother moving.
No, the trade of time is not good enough. Like
Yeah.
to just
But I think it makes sense to try. I mean, on this side
No.
compared to LLM.
And like another question which I see like nowadays over internet, people are bashing the orchestration tools, like the wrappers of OpenAI function calling, LangChain or Llama Index. Did you write anything? Did you use LangChain or Llama or all this kind of orchestration tool?
Actually, I don't really understand. Well, I guess maybe they are bashing Longchain because like the industry is moving so fast. I mean, yeah, it was insane. I think it's a bit slower now, but for 1 year, Longchain every day there was an update, right? Like they were going so fast. So I think they had to deprecate a lot of their code, and so it's hard to maintain. Like I'm using a Longchain version that they change the way you use Longchain so many times that it's getting harder and harder to follow them. Because at first you use it for convenience, and now it's getting a mess every time you want to update. So I understand them, but I did use Longchain, but many times I had to kind of override it. So I was like using it, and then I had to copy their source code, create my own class, and then just add some bunch of like custom stuff. So yeah.
It becomes a bit harder to debug or something because they have so many kind of structure on top of it.
Yeah.
It gets harder. And so you normally used OpenAI tool callings or something like similar, or where you just wrote your own functions and then made the tool calling.
And actually, to be honest, we didn't use so many tool calling. I mean, if you really talk about like, function calling in OpenAI, for a long time, we just added it like recently. Before for a long time, we didn't need to use tool calling but just we were using Longchain for just calling OpenAI and basic stuff, right?
So I feel like personally, I feel LangChain is pretty good for the first start where you just want to test your whole idea, just quickly get it done, just with few lines of code, so you have some agent ready to.
For sure. No, it's good to start. Long term, maybe better to just use the actual library, like OpenAI library, and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
And one thing maybe people can use, because now we are doing it, and I'm fairly happy, even if it's early. Vercel is doing an AI SDK, and I think it's pretty good.
Can you tell a bit more, like what is this AI Vercel SDK?
So Vercel, right? Vercel is it's like a hosting platform, very easy to push your website or app, and they really did a very nice integration for chatbot, a AI tool. So they created their own AI SDK that is very available in many languages, and it's good because it's kind of a wrapper but very convenient for Vercel, and you can call OpenAI, you can switch to Gemini. Like it's gonna be easy to add more model and stuff, and so far it's quite good. I think. So
you mean like you can switch to any of the models and having a very fixed set of SDKs which will just work for all the models, just tweak it. I think something called as Together AI is also doing very similar, if I'm not wrong.
But people can try that. Like it's to create a website and have it integrated very easily, very fast. I think it can be a good idea.
Like since we're talking about the tech stack, so this were written in Python, the backend part?
So the backend part was in Python for most of the time, yes. Yeah. So I use Fast API. I don't know if you know. It's very good. I mean, you can scale it very easily, and it's fairly easy to write. So I think like, and I'm from. So I think for any like data scientists, data engineers that are used to Python or stuff like that, writing a API in Fast API, it's like you can scale to 1 million users, and it's good and it's simple. So I would strongly recommend to try that.
I'll just add this part. Like we in Data Button, the backend, we are actually converting the Python part into Fast API.
Oh, really?
And that's how the Fast API. So we call it the backend, which is the API. Endpoint is connected with the React frontend.
That's nice.
So, and that's the AI is doing that. It's very easy to manipulate the AI.
Maybe I need that.
I mean, try it out.
I like Fast API, and as I say, for my new business, it's same. I'm gonna use the same Fast API stuff, and yeah. And me for the front end, we use Svelte. I don't know if you heard about Svelte. And I think my point with Svelte is because I was a backend engineer. I think Svelte actually it's easier to learn from not like if you don't have front end experience than React. You can compare it to React. It's kind of same as React, but it's Svelte. So you use TypeScript and Svelte, the actual Svelte. So you create components and you can easily integrate it to your front side and server side. So it's just I think the architecture is easier to understand when you're a newbie in front end like me, let's say. So I recommend like if someone is a backend developer and they want to move to front end to at least check it because it might be easier than React, and it's like it's more like the easier type of view, this kind of byte stuff. So it's like that, but it's very powerful as well and fast. So it's a good one.
That's good. API routers with your front end. That's how it's
pretty much, yeah. Front end is Svelte, TypeScript, and it's all hosted on Vercel.
And ChatNode uses Superbase database.
Yeah, for logging, for setting, for the bots, all these kind of So and I'm very happy about Superbase. It's quite good. Yeah. The only thing I would say Superbase is sometime for now we already paying more. You think you don't need to pay, but because if you have a lot of traffic at once or whatever, you need to upgrade they call it add-on. Like you need to pay basically a bigger CPU. Yeah. And I didn't expect that. I was a bit disappointed, but now I think same, like they managed to optimize a bit. So at one point I was paying like $250 a month, which I feel was a bit too much for not much data, but it was just the CPU. And now it's half of that, which I think is more reasonable, but just keep that in mind, like once you scale. But to start, scale it's just going to be a bit pricey potentially, I would say.
This conversation reminds me, and which you know very well, famous Shift Fast. Of Shift Fast, it's pretty cool. How much time you save by using this tech stacks.
Yeah. Don't waste 2 months to build something when you can pay $200 for it, right?
I mean, in this kind of building, one person or like a small group of team building a SaaS product and actually succeeding, you need something which is fast or which is convenient enough. I think the conveniency comes at a cost of price. While coding, did you use any particular tools, AI tools to help you with, or like ChatGPT, Claude? People use GitHub Copilot.
So at first I was just using GPT, and then I added the Copilot stuff on VS Code, and I liked it. What I do is usually I write a comment. So you start with writing a comment, and then you press enter, and then you have a draft function or whatever, and then you just edit it. So I think on productivity side, Copilot, if used well, it's pretty good. Yeah.
It's so hard to imagine, like when you were coding, like when you're working in your full-time job, let's say before pre-ChatGPT, and now the productivity has increased almost 10 or more times.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, before you were happy when you had the autocomplete. But now it's like the autocomplete now it's like an entire function, or it's much more advanced basically.
It's crazy, man. Okay, let's come back to the journey and just quickly wrap this part of the whole ChatNode, because I think that's the most interesting part. You guys have already sold it, or how is it going now with ChatNode?
So I mean, to be fully transparent, what happened is we were growing slowly, but with my partners on the marketing side, we had kind of conflict on how to run the business and the vision. And so I thought like, okay, maybe, it's just better to sell it because, if you have conflict in the partner, it's long-term, it's going to be very hard. And I didn't want that. So we made a common decision to sell the business. And the learning there is very interesting as well. It's first, just make sure you have good metrics. So actually, when you sell it, you should make sure your product is good. Like, your MRR is growing. It's going to give you a lot of advantage. So you should not like suddenly stop doing everything. You should almost work double harder during the selling process to make sure your SaaS is appealing. Also, I hurried because I wanted to sell it before summer, because I knew that summer would be hard, right? Because metrics is gonna go kind of sideways. So we went on acquire.com. It's the most popular one these days.
Yes.
The good thing is you can plug in many things. Like you can plug in your Google Analytic, your chart module or Stripe, so people can see read only real data. You cannot really, so it's very convenient, and you don't need to like send an Excel or like something a bit odd. You can just connect a few tools so they have access to see the real metric. And the process is basically like that. So first is same again, always remember you can negotiate anything. Fee between 2 to 7%. So please try to negotiate. And once you sign with them, you have to go through them. So if you find, like, for example, while I was on Acquire and I post a few tweets, I got some people reaching out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter, or maybe I'm interested. If there was real serious buyer, I need to tell them to go through acquire.com. So because they have like, you sign something that you cannot just sell it outside of Acquire during that time. So just remember that. And maybe they will decrease the fee, but still they will take some commission.
And when did you guys decide that it's the time?
So I think we posted like a few months ago, but I think when we really decided to sell it was, I would say, May.
This year, May.
Yeah, like 3 months ago, right? Very recently.
And honestly, I really don't have much idea. It would be great to know, like, how did you guys decide on this? That you want to do this, sell it up, and you have the product good enough that people will actually go for it, will acquire it, and
well, we thought like we work a lot on it. We have customers. At that time we were making between 8 to 15,000 a month, so it was getting good. But because we wanted to kind of split, we said like, I think a lot of people will like, if suddenly a buyer with a lot of marketing expertise or product expertise like can bring it basically to the next level, and there is a lot of upside. So we were confident that we could sell it. I don't know which price, but we were confident we could sell it. So that's why we tried, right? We put it.
How many customers you had that time?
At that time, we had like a bit more than between 100 and 150 paying customers.
I just missed this point. Do you guys any analytics tool to monitor?
So we use, I recommend like Plausible just for traffic. It's very simple to add, and it's a very simple overview for a newbie, and it's free up to, it depends on your traffic. So it's relatively okay. Like now we are paying like maybe $50 a month, but when you start, it's gonna be free. So Plausible, then some Google Analytics for the Google ads, but it's not that good. It's quite complicated, but that was mainly it. And then I was trying to, then for the analytic of usage and stuff, it was kind of ad hoc, meaning like I was reading SQL queries on Postgres to say like, okay, how many users, how many users we have, what are our top user, this kind of stuff. Selling, we post it, and the process is first, they gonna so you connect everything, you put a presentation, you put a listing price. Basic listing price, I would say, for me, my experience is 2 to 3 times your ARR. So if you make 10K a month as a MRR, you make 120 a year, so you can relatively easy, I think, sell it to 240 to 300,000. It's like relatively, it should be reasonable to think that way.
Nice.
And you saw it with Feather, what was the name? The Notion to blog. I think sold like 250,000. And ChatNode was really the same. So it's, I think
his name is Bhanu, who is building the site GPT.
Yeah, correct, exactly. So just remind that, like, so it's a good way actually to think like, if you make a product that makes 10K a month, actually you could exit fairly easily for 200 to 300,000. So it means your asset value is quite high if you think about it.
Pretty much.
So
that's super, man.
And if you make just 5K a month, you can sell it for 100,000 potentially. So it's quite good.
And this whole journey took how long? Once you put it in Acquire in March, and then?
So we put it in May, and I was in a hurry, so I said I want to sell in June. So first step is you put every buyer you sign the NDA, you send a few messages. Usually you have 1 or 2 meetings. First meeting is usually number, marketing, and maybe technical. And then whoever wants to buy, they send a LOI, so letter of intention. And you have to be very careful. Those LOI are exclusive. So meaning once you sign it, acquire platform gonna freeze. You cannot talk to anyone else, and legally you cannot even send an email to any other potential buyer. So
Wow.
once you get the LOI, you want everyone. It's good because usually once you have the LOI, it's kind of, you can say, oh, someone is willing to pay like 250 for that. You want to pay, it's the time to do it, because once I'm signing, you're out of the race. So once you sign a race, it's time to make the buyer compete. And review them and really choose the ones that you think not gonna bail out, right? Like, okay, why is this buyer want to buy it? How fast is gonna close? How long you want to do the due diligence? Does he has the money? Questions are very important, and the acquire team is going to be there to help you. So I recommend, especially in your first time, to go with them. Once that, then if you sign it, then you go to the APA, which is like the actual contract. Once you sign it, then before that, I mean, you do the due diligence, then APA, and then it's time you transfer. So you send the Stripe and you transfer the asset, right? Before you transfer the asset, he's gonna have to send the money to the escrow. So you send money to the escrow. Once the money is in escrow, you're good. For example, the buyer doesn't send the money directly to me, basically, right?
Perfect. So it's like a middle, middle bank or middleman who will just send it
exactly.
there. It is there, it's stacked. So once everything is done, it goes to you. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So first step is like, okay, we sign the contract. He send the money. Once he sends the money, I transfer ChatNode. I transfer the assets, the website, the fast API, all this stuff. Once everyone agrees that I transfer the asset, we sign last time, and then the escrow send the money to me.
Wow.
And so we found a buyer after a few weeks. I really like this guy. So basically I can tell now he's a founder of AI Tool Report. So it's the number one American AI use later. They have 500,000 subscriber on the newsletter. And we did it so I sold it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow, and congratulations. This is great. Like for personally also, it's very great. I mean, it's amazing to see because I think I know you via Twitter for almost past couple of months. And I know about ChatNode. We spoke about this entire technical details of cohort embeddings. I remember one of your long posts which you had. That time you told me you are using cohort rank. I asked you how good it is.
Yeah.
And it's really great. I mean, it's a lot of inspiring, and that's the whole point of doing this, because it's not very. I haven't found a lot of. I mean, I know Levis Leo or Mark Liu and all these people are sharing it, but I think sharing this is just transferring this energy to others and this vibes, and it's really good. I mean, it's a success story, and I know there have been a lot of times which you guys just like enough of it.
It's good, and I hope I can, because I didn't realize it's impossible to learn even selling until you sell a business. No one, I don't know, you cannot find this information anywhere.
There is no learning as such without doing it yourself. It's like
it's impossible.
Very
so
hard to
I'm
find.
happy to share, and I hope someone can use it, and I'm gonna use all my learning for the next one.
And so what's next? This makes me ask the question like a teaser. I mean, I know that you are building that API library, that I have seen it.
No, but basically it's a very, I'm gonna try it. Let's see. Basically my attitude is again, build fast, 1 or 2 months max. If there's no traction, I will move over and try something else fails, and try again. The idea is a lot of our customer, and I check with other competitors as well, they have that. They want to train their AI on their website, but usually also behind login password. So like a web app. So let's say you have a knowledge base, but it's extranet. You need to pass your login password. And I spent a lot of time building the Scrapper this year, and I also use many third party. I tried many. Honestly, Scrapper, even the one you pay for, they are very hard to use. They are horrible. So I want to make a niche Scrapper which is focused on password protected web app. So you just put your domain, you put your login password, and we'll
go inside
and stuff to scrap even behind your password and stuff.
Perfect.
That's
this sounds very interesting. I think it's good to take the break, and especially after a very, very good exit. I think you guys deserve it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, but it's hard, even the funny thing, when I post the tweet about I sold ChatNode, a lot of people ask me what's next, and so I felt actually in a way it was good because I felt motivation, but in a way I felt okay, should I start again right away? My
No,
wife is trying to tell me like take a break, take a break.
after all this conversation, I don't think you will stop here. It's
No,
just starting. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure your mind will be like, okay, let's build something else. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
I
sure.
mean, I don't know what else I would do. The thing. So
No, man, this is so good to know. I know, like, we have missed a lot of points in between, more details. It's already been a long conversation.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I'll just get to
it's cool, man. I really
and I have,
appreciate you.
hey guys, so that was the most part of the video with Sasha. It was fantastic. I mean, the way he shared his entire journey from co-founding ChatNode until the very last exit. I think that has a lot to learn. And that's the whole purpose of this video, that we share with everyone so that everyone gets inspired, everyone learns from it. This type of candid details, it's very hard to find. I looked around a lot, but it's so hard to find. And that's the whole point of this kind of interview, which I am planning to do more. And I hope this one with Sasha, it was something which I really enjoyed myself. And I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. Please leave a comment and let me know what you guys like about it, what more you'd like to know, and try to add each and every links or each and every details which is shared in the description box. If something has missed, please write in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to go through and just add it back as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you all think. Cheers.